Hi guys, it's Tamra, the Judeo-Christian medium. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my reading, my channeling with Chester Bennington. Yay! Hi Chester. Okay, he's gonna hold off for just a minute. I want to introduce myself. Like I said, I'm a Judeo-Christian medium, meaning I'm a Jewish Christian medium. You can check out my About section if you want more information on that, and also my other videos explaining that. But as many of you know, I've been a medium my whole life, and I have been in and out of the spiritual closet, but I started reading tarot, and I started reading tarot for YouTube, and through that and a near-death experience, you can check those out on my channel too. I always want to say I bumped into Jesus, but I started talking to Jesus. I've talked to him a few times throughout my life, and now I will introduce you to my whole spiritual team, who I talk to continually, and will explain how Chester fits into that. So Jesus told me I'm throughout my lifetimes and through my DNA that I'm Jewish and Christian, and I've been channeling Jesus now for a while. If you'd like to watch those videos, and throughout, I can't explain it all in one video, but throughout watching all of my videos, you can piece together all of the information. Obviously, Jesus was Jewish and Christ, so Christian, but I recommend checking out the lives and the times, sorry, I just heard my neighbor, the messages that I've channeled through Jesus, because he tweaks a little bit of what was said, like in the Bible, in the Torah. So anyway, I don't want to get too much into that. So I heard my neighbor, just to let you all know, there might be a little bit of noise. I live in New York City. So what else? So I don't edit. So whatever mistakes I make, you'll see that. And my channeling's gonna be, like all of my channelings, a little bit all over the place, because I do automatic writing. So I've been talking to Chester since Chris Cornell. So it's been over a month that I talked to Chris Cornell, and he brought through Chester. So I've been talking to Chester for a long time. So we finally had to wrap it up. I've been busy, like super busy, but the longer I wait, the more messages I get, and which is great. I love talking to Chester. I will continue to talk to him after this channeling, but it can get overwhelming, the amount of messages. But I'm going to be I will read the automatic writing. Will be talking to Chester. I will be talking to my spiritual team. And it's a lot, because people will be, spirits will be chiming in. So just bear with me, see if you like it. Before we get really into it though, I need to pray and introduce you to my spiritual team, the sirens. So, okay. Ooh, let me calm down. feel free to calm down with me, even though we have sirens, and pray with me. Okay. The way that I like to pray is with gratitude, which is the highest energy that you can have. So I'm going to start on my right with God. Thank you, God, for life. And I'm just going to say one word for each entity, spirit that comes through, just for time's sake, but to let you all know that this group here does a lot more than what I say. Thank you, God. Thank you for life. God comes to me from my upper right-hand side, very white. They have all come to me in different forms, and now they're starting to come through just with color and a connection, and I can just feel and feel them and the color, if that makes sense. And God is very white and gold, and well, as he passes the light onto Jesus, it gets a little gold glittery. So that light comes down to Jesus on my right. And I'd like to thank you, Jesus, for, sorry, that made me laugh. Metatron always laughs at the little honks. Thank you, Jesus, for peace. He said, peace, peace. Thank you, Jesus, for peace. So that the white light goes into gold, and Jesus is very indigo, and he's also surrounded by white and gold and silver, and he connects over to Mother Mary, who sits above me at my right hand shoulder. She's very indigo, the same colors as Jesus, indigo, white, and gold, and silver. At her core, she's very indigo. Thank you, Mother Mary. Thank you for comfort. Mother Mary connects over to Father Joseph, who sits right a little bit above me and behind me. Oh, he's very warm, hugging me. Thank you, Father Joseph. Thank you for stability. Father Joseph, like, turned pink for a moment. I haven't seen that. Father Joseph is very white. He's the same colors as Jesus and Mother Mary, just different ratios. And I will do videos on each spirit, each soul in the future. Thank you, Father Joseph. Thank you for stability. And Father Joseph connects over, this is in a smaller circle, to Archangel Michael. If you watch my videos, you'll know Archangel Michael has been very busy lately. Well, they've all been busy, but he's been very highlighted. Thank you, Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael is indigo. Thank you, Archangel Michael. Thank you for protection. He also has dimensions and is sparkly all around him. Archangel Michael connects over to Archangel Metatron. Oh, thank you, Metatron. Metatron's coming in very pink too. I guess that they feel like I need some love tonight. I do. And they're giving you all love too. Thank you, Archangel Metatron. Thank you for entertainment. and he's showing me his rainbow colors. It's pink, but you know, he's always red, orange, yellow. He said fiesta. Thank you, Metatron. Thank you for entertainment. And he is reminding me to tell you all to check out my community tab and check out my Instagram. It's the same name, Tamara the Judeo-Christian Medium, because I've been pretty much daily, I go through different celebrities, different famous people, and let you all know what their galactic origins are, and their spiritual origins, and sometimes going into the Akashic records as to their past lives. So just to let you all know too, that these are the Pleiadians, Arcturians, and tall whites. And I'll explain that in just a minute. But thank you, Archangel Metatron. Thank you for entertainment. Archangel Metatron connects to Archangel Eric Medhus, who sits right here. I'll explain that. So Archangel Eric Medhus, thank you for communication. Archangel Medhus is also very indigo, white, silver, sometimes green comes in when he's teaching. Thank you, Archangel Eric Medhus. Thank you for communication. Archangel Medhus is part of Archangel Uriel. He now is helping mediums connect to this team. He's helping me. Thank you, Archangel Eric Medhus. Archangel Eric Medhus connects over to Archangel Gabriel, who sits right in front of me. Hi, Gabe. Archangel Gabriel is very red, and thank you, Archangel Gabriel. Thank you for acceptance. Now, many of you know about these archangels through reading about them, through different religious texts too. So I'm not disputing what you've read. This is what this group means to me. Throughout the ages, their meanings that you've read are also true. So Archangel Gabriel connects just past Michael to Archangel Sandalphon. And you guys, this is like, it's like a stadium. This is the 12th dimension. And it goes out like a stadium, and out and down, and these rainbow colors connect from the 12th dimension all the way down to Earth. And I will explain that more in videos, but that's the rainbow connection that we all know about. So we're connecting over to like this group of this section of the stadium, which are, let me be clear, the section to the right, it's heavy, tall, white influence. The section to the middle is very Pleiadian, and the section to my left is very Arcturian. This whole team, they are the Pleiadians, Arcturians, and tall whites. Now again, many of you have a lot of information about aliens and other dimensions, prophets. I will get into those in other videos, and I'm just going off of questions that I get from my subscribers. So I just want to help out with that. I can give out a little bit of information with each video, but to let you all know, this is not invalidating anyone else's experience. They said to get back to that in a minute. So let's get back to Archangel Sandalphon in this section. Thank you, Archangel Sandalphon. Thank you for intelligence. And Archangel Sandalphon is mostly white with some gold and silver. Archangel Sandalphon connects over to Archangel Raphael. Thank you, Archangel Raphael. Thank you for healing. Archangel Raphael is violet with white and gold. Archangel Raphael connects over to Archangel Azrael. Thank you, Archangel Azrael. Thank you for organization. You're welcome. He's very they do come in as mostly male, but there's a duality there. They are male and female energy. But thank you, Archangel Azrael. Archangel Azrael is mostly indigo. He has violet, and like I said, it's more of an energy. I'm saying him also to explain to you guys. Very violet, white, gold, silver, but also very indigo. It's like dimensions thing. And Archangel Azrael connects over to Archangel Jophiel. Thank you, Archangel Jophiel, for magical beauty. And Archangel Jophiel is very sparkly. She's a mixture, very, very silver and gold. Mostly silver and gold, a little bit of white, and just a little fade out of violet and indigo. So Archangel Jophiel connects over to Archangel Uriel, which is me. And I've explained that in other videos. Thank you, Archangel Uriel. Thank you for my mission. Now, Eric Medhus is a part of Uriel, but has branched off for his new mission. So thank you, Archangel Uriel. Thank you for my mission. And to remind you all of this gratitude that I'm giving to them. If you need help in these areas, please pray to them. And I just had a subscriber ask me how. So I've gone through that in other videos, but just a quick tip: emulate what I'm doing. That's a great, I know it's very simple. I've lit a candle, I'm talking to them. Start there. And they're telling me the number one thing they'd like you to do, if you'd like to talk to them or anyone on the other side, the number one thing is to give them permission. I like the saying, "Thy will be done," meaning I hand it over to you. So give them permission. Tell them you would like to know what is best for you. and that would be according to your soul and what you signed up to do here. So especially if you feel lost, or if you just would like to talk to them and like to know, that will open the door to them and give them permission to talk to you. And it will always be in your highest good. So it's good to just start with that. Okay, I'll make other videos on that in the future. I hope that helps. So Archangel Uriel is very indigo, as you can see. Thank you, Archangel Uriel, for my mission. Archangel Uriel also, like Archangel Eric Medhus is indigo with some violet, sometimes green, white, little sparkles. So also, let me explain why I'm wearing a navy t-shirt. So they asked me to. I have a connection to the Navy through my DNA, through past lives. So it's very important. Archangel Michael oversees the Navy, and the Navy in all countries, and Archangel Uriel oversees the oceans, so it's all connected. But I want to let you all know that this whole group too, including Chester, this whole group are also the Galactic Federation. So the Galactic Federation are the archangels and the starseeds, the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, and the tall whites. We decided on the other side to support each other. Sometimes we don't know that here, but if you are a starseed, you are in some way part of the Galactic Federation. Everyone has different missions, but so the main goal of the Galactic Federation is to fight spiritual warfare, which Chester Bennington was a big part of, and that's why he's here to talk about that, to fight spiritual warfare. And his mission was also, besides his music, to save the children, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. So let's finish with the prayers. Archangel Uriel, well, let me just also say right now, so we all know Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell are connected. So Chris Cornell is the son of Jesus, so he sits out and below Jesus, so same colors as Jesus. But Chester is a child of Uriel, so Chester is my child. I couldn't be more proud too. So Chester is a child of Archangel Uriel. So Chester sits out from me here and below, although tonight he's sitting up in my left-hand corner, just kind of waiting. That's where that's like their waiting room now. But this is a lot, but I'm trying to break this down for you guys. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. So Archangel Uriel connects over to Archangel Zadkiel. Thank you, Archangel Zadkiel, for balance. And Archangel Zadkiel is very green. Thank you. And, you know, has different colors around him, like white and gold and silver. Thank you, Archangel Zadkiel. Thank you for balance. Archangel Zadkiel connects to, sorry, the sirens. Archangel Jeremiah. Thank you, Archangel Jeremiah. Thank you for wildness. Archangel Jeremiah is very, very sparkly tonight. Archangel Jeremiah is very silver tonight. Thank you, Archangel Jeremiah. Thank you for wildness. Archangel Jeremiah connects over to Archangel Raguel. Thank you, Archangel Raguel. Thank you for swagger. Archangel Raguel is very red tonight. He's showing me like a red flag, like with like a bullfight. Thank you, Raguel. Archangel Raguel connects over to, goodness, Archangel Chamuel. Archangel Chamuel is light blue tonight. Archangel Chamuel, thank you for calm. Archangel Chamuel connects over to Archangel Ezekiel, who's very like the color of a harvest, like that color of corn, yellow, pale yellow. Thank you, Archangel Ezekiel. Thank you for nutrition. Archangel Ezekiel connects over to Archangel Haniel, who's very light pink. Thank you, Archangel Haniel. Thank you for sleep. Archangel Haniel connects over to Archangel Chamuel. Sorry, Chamuel. Archangel. Okay, they're talking to me. Thank you, Archangel Daniel. Daniel's doing a little dance to wake me up. I'm a little distracted by noise in my building too. Thank you, Archangel Daniel. Archangel Daniel's very red tonight. Thank you. He just made himself into a candy corn. He's like, I'm those colors. Thank you, Archangel Daniel. Thank you for humor. I really need it tonight. Ooh, tired, you guys. Okay, so this is my spiritual team, and like I said, they are the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, and the Tall Whites. They are all three of these. As they branch out, Chris Cornell is Pleiadian and Arcturian. He's not Tall White, so just to explain that there. But Chester Bennington is Pleiadian, Arcturian, and Tall White. And we had a big discussion about this, and a big discussion about, I had a big discussion with Jesus. Jesus and Eric Medhus are my guides that connect me to them and this team. But guys, I had this huge discussion with Jesus when I channeled Chris Cornell, and he told me that he's a child of Jesus, so he's Chris Cornell's son, and I got a little jealous, and I was like, well, we've all had all of these lifetimes, which you can watch videos on that, but I was like, so has Chris Cornell just ever been my child. And Jesus is like, no, it doesn't work that way. You are what you are. And I was like, oh, really? Never? And then they told me Chester Bennington is my child. I was like, oh, okay. But they're cousins. So many of you who are into channeling, into spirituality, many of you know that, already, that Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington have this close relationship, and that's why they're spiritual cousins. So I'll explain more about these concepts in other videos, but they were having like a discussion over me while I've been doing this, and about like how Chris Cornell is Pleiadian and Arcturian, and Chester is all three. And they were like, Chester was like, that's why I'm not as pretty as Chris, and Chris is like, well, that's why I'm not as like smart as but they both are. It's not like that. We try to explain it, but they're both highly intelligent. It's just different. It's very hard to explain different aspects, but it's very hard to put into words because they're singing to me, words get in the way. I don't know what song that is. But they've been talking a lot with Chester and them about words, and how it's very hard for them, me, as we are here on Earth, as I'm stammering, just to communicate. It was hard for Chester. It's hard for Jesus when he's been here. I will be making videos of all of Jesus's lifetime, all of everyone's lifetimes here, because what they have told me, which is true of everybody here, and all galactics, is we are somewhere on the spectrum of what on Earth is considered to be autism, ADHD, other what are considered to be abnormalities, neurodivergent. So yeah, they're singing words get in the way. Because even as I'm trying to explain their discussion, like him saying he's prettier and he's smart, it's not really, those words are don't really describe the energy. But I will try my mission to explain all of this to you as best I can. But without further ado, thank you to my team as they hover. Let's introduce Mr. Chester Bennington. And all of a sudden, he just made his face really big. Hi, Chester, I love you. They love you. And Chester says he loves you guys. His face came in really big. It's really big. He's wearing like big black glasses, just being like really funny, really exaggerated. Yeah, he's now he made them into like big plastic black glasses, and he's got a cigar. He's like, how you doing? He said that when he used to joke when he was here that he would put on an accent and it would really confuse people, that he'd be like, hey, how you doing? Autism, neurodivergence, galactic beings, star seeds. So I get your humor, obviously. We're cut from the same cloth. So, ooh, it just flashed around like a light. Oh, Chester. Okay. Now he's wearing, he said, a Canadian tuxedo. So he's wearing double jean, like jean jacket and jean pants and a white shirt. He looks very cash. It's just kind of like, so, welcome, Mr. Chester Bennington. I'm sure we are all sorry. I'm sorry for what happened to you. And he's like, yeah, me too. So we will get into that later. I have a lot of messages from Chester. Yeah, hold on one second. So thirsty. Okay. So let's start with my automatic writing. And I also just wrote some notes on like a biography of Chester. So Chester was born 3/20/1976, so March 20th, 1976, and he wanted me to point out that the day is a 2, the same as me, and the same as Chris Cornell. So many of you who are into numerology can look up these dates, and my team would like you all to know that numerology is real. It is just another way that they try to talk to us. And you can establish numbers with them if you'd like. And what you all have probably heard when you're nudged to look up and you see 1111, they are talking to you that way. So I will make videos about that in the future. So he's also a Pisces, March 20th, 1976. His life path number was a 1, which was a little tough for him because the way he explained it is that it's like he was a 1 and a 2, which is tough. It's like the day was 2, which is very, he was very, he's explaining it as, like he's saying after you, like it's I'll let you go first, but he was also, his life path number is a 1, so that's a number of, for him, it was responsibility, which is why he would find himself in leadership roles. But what was hard is that, so he was very cooperative, he was a cooperative leader. And that can be very hard for the person and for other people, because the way that our system operates, I've explained in other videos how our system on Earth pretty much is not favors, but it's based on neurotypical, reptilian, and even dark reptilian. So with that group, it's hard for them to feel equal with a leader. And so Chester found it challenging to be, he was seen as a leader, but he also really valued cooperation and equality, which has taken on a whole different meaning. Okay, so he was born March 20th, 1976, and he passed on Chris's birthday, July 20th, 2017. Not a few months after Chris passed away. So you can watch the Chris Cornell video. I gave all the details of how Chris passed. Okay, so we'll start with the messages. Oh goodness, my back. So anyway, Chester wanted to start out by saying, talking about dark reptilian energy, which who Chester is, having such a strong mission here on Earth, and having his mission be to fight spiritual warfare through music and to save the children, to help the children through music and through his position. He, like many other starseeds, had a target on his back since birth. So, you know, many of you would see someone like Chester, and I'm saying he's a child of Archangel Uriel, and that can sound really lofty. This whole thing can sound lofty. I probably sound very lofty. You know, in psychology, it could sound like I have delusions of grandeur. But just to let you all know, it's a double-edged sword. It's a huge responsibility, and he had the dark reptilian energy. Let me explain for those who don't know what that is. I will explain. The way that Jesus told me very simply is that when God created humanity, he got together with beings that were already on other planets, the reptilians from Mars, the Pleiadians from the Pleiades, the tall whites from the Pleiades, and the Arcturians from Arcturus. This is the original overall umbrella. And so on Earth, we have all four of these energy, life forces, spirits on Earth. And over time, some reptilians through actions became dark reptilians and separated off from this group. There are many stories about that. I will be telling future stories, but what happened was that energy found itself in the fourth dimension. Now this group is the 12th dimension. The dark reptilian energy hangs out in the fourth dimension. So the best way I can describe it is it negatively feeds off humanity and tries to connect to us all, but connects more, not hard to put into words, but successfully with reptilian souls that are dark reptilian souls that are here, and reptilian souls. But as we have the sirens, how do I explain this? The dark reptilian energy that hangs out in the fourth dimension is constantly feeding off humanity, trying to persuade humanity to be dark reptilian. But it's just in different ways. But being who Chester Bennington is, having that purpose, he also had another aspect to his life for him to in his family. He also chose, you had a big mission, yeah, he chose to break a generational curse in his family, and I've talked about that. You can check out my other videos. So through doing that, he was constantly targeted by dark reptilian energy through his own thoughts, through the situation with his family, through the actions of others. Now, if other people around you are in a dark place, and the dark reptilian energy can get to you through them. So it can sound, as I'm describing this, like paranoia, and it can feel like paranoia, but if you feel like you are, I mean, everyone's susceptible to this dark reptilian energy, but if you feel like you, depending on your age, you have a mission, if it's a higher purpose, if you've ever felt like maybe strangely people were, how do I put it, just a negative energy towards you. I could, go on and on about that, but he just wanted me to touch on that. So I wrote here, the dark reptilian energy knows your mission, is completely aware of everything, knows your strengths, your weaknesses, and so one of the big ways that the dark reptilian energy got to Chester was through an older friend. So Chester's parents, Chester's mother was a nurse, is a nurse. When he was growing up, Chester's mother was a nurse, and his father was ironically a police detective who investigated children who were victims of SA abuse. So Chester was left alone and controlled by this older brother type friend. So his parents thought he was fine, but this friend was assaulting him for a long time. He's saying like from like 7 to around 11. It's really hard to talk about, you guys. So he said it was really bad. And, you know, Chester came here to help people. So along with that, he was very naive, trusting, and not designed for, not that anyone's designed, but starseeds are very vulnerable in comparison to reptilians, so it was devastating for him. And also this is how he was growing up, so he didn't know, like he knew it was wrong because of like what he'd heard at school, but for a long time he didn't know any differently. And then when he found out it was wrong and that he had been engaged in that, he was very confused as to what his role was, and that he would get in trouble during that time. He's Generation X, I'm Generation X. A big thing in our growing up was just don't get in trouble. So he was worried about getting in trouble, and worried about, he just wanted to just sweep it under the rug, because he said he was fractured, like on just how to deal with it. He compartmentalized. Okay, he's showing me like, yeah, he compartmentalized. Sometimes they show me through images and then I come up with the words. So he compartmentalized that pain. You know, it of course bubbled up, but okay. So then also growing up, he was smaller in stature. He got made fun of for the way he looks. But he, you know, he's on the other side. He can see now that he's saying like everybody has something that people will make fun of. But he was vulnerable because he was already being bullied by this older friend. So he was just overwhelmed, because he's saying like, yeah, he was smaller, and he's saying they teased him for being different looking, but he wasn't really like that different looking. It's just that, you know, that's what bullies do, is they look for what your weak spot will be, what will make you react. And so he got bullied too. So life was pretty much HE double hockey sticks for him as a child. So this was part of the dark reptilian energy, just pretty much trying to destroy what his mission was. And just to let you all know, before we come here, we're told what our mission is, and we're told that things that could possibly go wrong. There's a little outline of like things that could happen, and sometimes they go to the extreme of wrong, which happened with him. But it's always a possibility with what family you're coming into, what things could things that could happen. And to let you all know, this team tries to prevent that, but we all have free will, including like parents and their decisions. And that's where things, you know, we say life is so unfair. How could Chester Bennington have these things happen to him? Especially, you know, being from this team and being a child of Archangel Uriel. And that's, sorry for the sirens. And that's precisely the point, is that this energy, it tried to emasculate him. So now he's a child of Archangel Uriel. He is here for a purpose, to be part of the Galactic Federation. So letting you all know, that's incredibly, he was incredibly masculine, not invulnerable, not invulnerable, which is different than being feminine. He was masculine, but not as, he wasn't invulnerable like a reptilian or a dark reptilian. So the dark reptilian energy tried its best to emasculate him, and that is part of their that negative entity's purpose, is to emasculate men that are masculine, and to, it's just part of it, to defeminize the feminine. If you want to call it the divine masculine, the divine feminine, that's another good term for it. So that's what that energy hooked into. For different spirits, it could be different things, different souls, but that's how the energy tried to hook into him. And it did, and it got him for a while, but you can't, the dark reptilian energy can't permanently change someone's nature. And he had the connection to this team through music. So it was a battle for his soul. And he was very confused as a child, like he's telling me all the negative words they said. I can't say them, but he's saying, like, you know, he thought, like, am I, and this isn't, okay, Jesus is helping me out. You know, some people, some men are born gay, and some men are born to be the feminine in a male female relation. I mean a male male relationship. So we don't want to make this seem like that's a negative thing, but yeah, Chester wasn't gay, but he's saying if he was, he would have been proud of it. But it was very confusing, and the most important part of this is that that's what the dark reptilian energy does. It also confuses. That's how it gains power. So yes, the dark reptilian energy has been talked about in all religions. People call it the devil, but this is the description that my team has given me. And they're like, they told me to bring back this term that got, here's the confusion again, it got a little bit confused as to what it was and exaggerated and then made into a conspiracy theory. So now a lot of people who it's starting, the team is trying to get mediums and psychics and to start talking about this more, because it was made into a farce and made into something embarrassing. So when that happens, the whole concept gets lost. I wasn't too happy that Jesus asked me to talk about this stuff, because I was like, you know, where we're at right now. I didn't just to talk about Jesus and to talk about being Christian. There's a lot I was like arguing with, like, why, you know, can I get these messages through? I was a tarot reader, and I'm like, that was fun. Like, people, culture has become more accepting of tarot. And so that was fun. And Jesus is like, no, I want you to talk about me. I want you to tell people you're Jewish. And I want you to talk about aliens and how this all connects together. And I was like, no. But I did it anyway. Because he knows I'm crazy and I'll do it anyway. He said, no, you're not crazy. Okay, so so Chester wants you, you know, this is a message for you guys. A very big sign of what happened to him, and in general, dark reptilian people and energy do not want you to be yourself, do not want you to do your mission. The ultimate goal is to have you disappear, to take yourself out, or to have someone else take you out. Preferably at your own hands. That's the they're saying all these things, guys. So they're showing me all throughout history and how it's such a, the dark reptilian energy is that Jezebel spirit, whether it's in a man or a woman. It's very teenagery, it's very soap opera-y. You know, teenagers are like, you know, if they fight with someone, they're like, go off yourself. And they think like if they stop being friends with someone, especially if they're like popular, that the person's life is just gonna end, and that's good. And, you know, the drama, and this isn't all teenagers, but teenagers definitely, depending on who they are too. I mean, they're all susceptible, but that dark reptilian, the mean girl spirit latches on, and it comes from the source of it, which is that energy that hangs out in the fourth dimension. So any kind of energy like that is very dark reptilian, and that was constantly harping on him, like, to do that to himself. Okay, so I wrote down here. So he interjected at this point. He actually led me, and they're getting very good at leading me to do research. So they led me to this professor named Tom Philpott. So Tom Philpott was a professor in Austin, Texas, and he was a champion for championing for boys, because this was like 70s and 80s, and so this was a very taboo subject that people would not listen at all, or accept that young boys were being sold for assault and just for sale for all kinds of, disgusting, trafficking. So Tom Philpott was a champion of that, Professor Tom Philpott, and I'm going to put anything I'd like you to reference in I'll put it in the description. So I'll probably put it in the comments too. So Tom Philpott made a movie called Boys for Sale, and unfortunately he was taken out, he was stolen from us, he was silenced by very powerful people who are very dark reptilian, who were very benefited from this. This is $1 billion industry, and the way that Chester Bennington put it to me, because I just didn't understand the depravity of the situation. Like, why are there so many people who are involved in all of this? Like, people in power and people who have everything, people that are well off and they're respected in their fields, and there are so many that are involved in trafficking and assault, and I'll try to put it into words the way that he explained it to me. It's that so he explained it as, once a soul has decided, or once a soul does not sees other people as objects, and doesn't consider sex, I think I can say that, doesn't consider that to be a spiritual connection, it just the energy of that, just, it's like if you're having relations with someone and you don't connect spiritually, so what that means is that you objectify other people. So now that person, people are objects of your gratification. So along with that comes an addiction. And we all know addictions just, it's called feeding the beast. And it wants the addiction wants more and more and more to, like a drug, you need more and more and more to satiate the addiction. And then also, these people find other people, friends, they find like-minded friends. So that makes sense, right? So they find like-minded friends who are into the same thing, and they're like, okay, cool. Just like Chester saying, just like he's a musician, he found Chris Cornell, they made music together. These people find each other, and there's an acceptance there. There's that feeling part of a group of other people who are into what you're into, even though they know it's wrong. So there's that secretive aspect which they like. Many of them were just on the path to be dark reptilians, became dark reptilian, and that energy too is also, it's an addiction, but it's a power. It's a power over others, and an enslavement, which is also like a aphrodisiac, like I don't want to say good feeling. It takes the place of true feelings that humans are supposed to have, like love, connection, soul connection. Once you don't have that and don't look for that, don't enjoy that, these other things can take over. So then, and please watch my other videos as I explain fully what it means to be all of these different aspects. So what it means to be just reptilian, not dark reptilian, is to be competitive. And I mean, all humans are competitive in a way, but reptilians are a little more competitive than starseeds. And there's, a positive reason for that. But dark reptilians are very competitive and in dark ways. And so once these people get together, once they form groups, they compete over who can get, who, obviously they compete over who has the most money. So they were telling me that too, that that's why, there are many dark reptilians sort of at the top pay that just keep wanting more and more and more, and that's to compete with their friends who have more. But I want to make it clear. They said, unfortunately, many starseeds try to offset that by not having financial success at all, which is not good either. But so they compete who has the most money, and then who can buy the most people. So it's basically slavery, and it's a status symbol. And so while they're competing, they're also wanting more and more depraved situations to satisfy that addiction. Okay, so let's go back to Tom Philpott. This is really a really important point, guys. So he was taken out by the group at that time. You can look him up, and I'm gonna put his information. But anyway, Tom Philpott is a child in the spiritual children group of Archangel Michael. So that's why he was so passionate about saving children, because he really made it his passion. It took over his life, and it took his life. So Tom Philpott is here. Child, his soul is here because he's on Earth now, also. So just the spiritual group of the children of Archangel Michael are here. Like, think of it as his higher self. So when Tom Philpott was taken out, he went back home to this group, and just to make it very clear, he was there had been attempts on his life for a long time, but they finally did it. So anyway, you guys get it. So Tom Philpott was taken out and went back home, figured everything out about what he wanted to do as quickly as possible, very ambitious, and came back as Charlie Kirk, okay? So Charlie Kirk doesn't know this. I don't know Charlie Kirk, but if I ever met him, I would let him know his Akashic records, that he's a child of Archangel Michael, that he's in danger, he knows that, and that he was Tom Philpott. But he came back savvier, and he came back with a more balanced intention, and that's why he's really like, he came back with a more intention to like have a better personal life too, which also brings protection. Chester Bennington is telling me that all of the things he is, all of what Tom Philpott, Charlie Kirk is, a child of Archangel Michael, makes you vulnerable to being attacked by the dark reptilian energy. But if you also are not in a good relationship, which would be like with another starseed, and you're protected, which at the best would be your twin flame. you're even more susceptible to attack, or being with your twin flame, being in a happy marriage that protects people. And this is really an important point too, that, you know, many people are discussing toxic people and narcissism. All of that's becoming really big. But they're saying it's all, you know, the dark reptilian energy is what people are concerned with. And, you know, people want to know, what is it about me that is attracting negative events and negative energy. And Chester Bennington would like me to really point out that it's not necessarily that something's wrong with you. Like he said, the dark reptilian energy knows what your purpose is, but if you're alone, that makes you much more vulnerable. And he really wants to make that clear, because many people who have been taken out are alone, or they're caught in a moment alone, like Chris Cornell being in a hotel room, or Chester Bennington separating from his family that night. So it's very important in general to find a tribe, or at least find, but there's complications with that too, of connecting with the right people. At least find a relationship, so that will, and now David Bowie is coming in, talking about him and Iman, because you know, he would have been vulnerable too in his position. You know, I'm gonna make a whole video about vulnerable positions, and like what would make you a target for, you know, being like taken out in that way. And so that will be for another video, but let me move on here. Okay, so Chester is pointing out it's just really, really important as to who you spend your time with. And this is a message, it's very complicated, like starseeds, empaths, creators, musicians, artists, have a natural desire to connect with people, but he's saying it's very, very important on who you connect with, who you spend time with, and take it very seriously. Even just people you'd spend any amount of time with, acquaintances, because, you know, not just for bigger reasons of personal security, but they mirror you. So he's saying when you choose to know someone, to spend time with someone, even have a conversation with someone, if you choose it, then you are saying, I accept your mirror. So that can be very damaging if their mirror is a lie because of like what's wrong with them, and they're not mirroring back to you who you are. And he's saying many people don't think that this is that big of deal, especially if it's just like, oh, you're spending a couple hours with your neighbor here, and then, you know, going to lunch with someone from work, and then, you know, you just meet a casual acquaintance for dinner. Now, if all these people don't mirror back to you correctly who you are, they can distort your view and he's just saying to be very careful of that can have a really negative effect on his life, because he had that too. That was confusing for him too. And of course, a very important point that I want to make out is that Chester guided me to find a baby picture of him, which I did. And also I'm making shorts now, guys, and Jesus is helping me with the shorts and this team. So I'm putting together like a galactic people, their music with other galactics, and it's just been like a lot of fun, and they're helping me with it. But in one of my shorts I put a picture of Chester Bennington as a baby, and when I found his baby picture, I felt like I was going to pass out, because so not only I'll tell you why, because not only Chester in the spirit realm is a child of mine and others who share Archangel Uriel's spiritual group. He's actually been and will be a child of mine in the future, and has been in the past. And I had a dream, like one of those prophetic dreams that and I'll talk about those in the future, that has stayed with me my entire life, where, and you know it's a prophetic dream if you get that just overwhelming feeling of love, and the dream is just stays with you. But in that dream I was pushing a swing, and all of a sudden my son looks back at me, and it's the baby picture of Chester, a little bit older, but that face. And like in my dream I knew that that was my son. I didn't know what it meant at the time, but that dream has always stayed with me. And he had me look up his baby picture, and when, like I said, I felt like I was going to pass out. It was just overwhelming. Just that like spiritual knowing, overwhelming, but in a good way. And so that was just amazing, guys, how that happened. Try to connect the dots like that in your life, like dreams, daydreams, feelings like that. And I'll try my best to help you guys with that. Of course, we're like an hour and a half in, and I don't tell you who Chester Bennington is. So Chester Bennington was the lead singer of Linkin Park, the band Linkin Park. He came up with that name. It's a park in California. So yes, that's where he was living too. Oh, that's a story for another day, because of my life path and all of that. Anyway, so it's in Santa Monica area, and he bought a house in Palos Verdes. So anyway, he came up with that name. He was also a lead singer for a while in the Stone Temple Pilots. So I'm going to be putting some playlists attached to this video so you guys can watch those. You know, I'll put it in the description and in the comments, so you guys can. I have a couple playlists that they've been having me listen to, so would love for you guys to listen to that. So let me talk about some of his albums. Hybrid Theory, the year 2000. It was certified diamond, you guys, which is really big. It was the best-selling album of that decade. So he released 6 studio albums. He's someone who's been very talked about by other, like even put into Wikipedia, talked about by other musicians so much. Like they've said that he turned new metal universal. People loved and trusted him, men, women, but especially men, and he was here to have that male bond, not romantically. Of course, that was exploited. He's saying that's another, the dark reptilian energy knows what your positive qualities are and exploits that. So be very careful with how you're being exploited. You could be exploited through your virtues, through your positive qualities. I wrote down Meteora, High Rise, One More Light was really big. Love that song. He sang that for Chris Cornell. He also got into acting, and he would have done more of that. He was in the movie Crank, High Voltage, Saw 3D. He taught through music. He helped men connect to their emotions without emasculating them. So he did his mission, even though he was taken out, and I'll get to that, I promise. He was taken out early, taken away from his family, taken away from his twin flame. Just little notes here. His parents were not emotionally available. That's how the dark reptilian energy got in. He drank alcohol when he was young, got into substances, and it helped him, of course, dull the pain, but also he really came here to connect with others, and that helped him connect with what he thought was his tribe, which he's saying is very important. So a lot of people wonder why people relapse. Oftentimes it's just, they're people. They like to connect. They like to party. They like the all-night conversations. And so simply not doing substances anymore can also put people just in a very dull, disconnected place. And so sometimes it's not just the substances that gets people back into that cycle. He was a medium. but his medium was music. He also did get, that's what gave him the strength to get out of the horrible situations he was in, is this whole group. Just, you know, really to also make you guys know that this whole group is always trying to help, always giving positive messages, always trying to get you to get back on your mission if you're a starseed, or your life path if you're a reptilian. So he did connect with his higher self and this team and Jesus. He did connect, and God, and thankfully that helped him. And I wrote here, he said, I wanted to be the man I needed growing up, and I broke the generational curse of abandonment. So that's a big one. I'm sorry you went through that. And, you know, he's just showing me this idea of Generation X and the latchkey children, the abandonment, happening at the same time as like the women's lib movement, and lots of single mothers, not understanding their sons, to also some of them abusing their sons, taking out this whole idea of divorce, and you know, fighting for women's rights, but taking it out, they could take it out on their sons. So he showed me this whole idea of what was going on during that time, and how some people were really harshly affected. Some boys were really harshly affected, and then others just got the message. But for him, it was abandonment, and of course, that's a great way to emasculate men too. And take them out. You know, Tom Philpott, I wanted to get his name right. Tom Philpott was a victim of that. Lots of Generation X boys and men didn't make it, didn't live as long as they should have, because of all of these issues. And he's saying that it's not really known, like it's not a popular opinion. Like a lot of it's been hidden, the pain of men. He's saying big baby boomers too, like a lot of baby boomer men who got caught, who were handled this way, their lives were cut short, and their children, the, you know, Gen Xers, and, you know, it has continued on, but we're just, you know, that's the generation that he's from. They're laughing about all of the whataboutism, and if you say one thing, how people will comment, well, what about this? What about that? Like if I talk about Gen X, the people comment, well, what about the millennials? So they're making jokes. Okay, so oh, okay, I messed up the numbers. I thought I messed up the numbers. He was assaulted from when he was 7 to 13, but his parents divorced when he was 11. Okay. And he's just saying back then this isn't right, but a slur, like a joke, a dig, boys would be like, oh, you're so gay. And he didn't want to be called that. Such a weird irony that his father was a detective for children who were assaulted. He's saying that there's an old expression that the cobbler's kids have no shoes, which is like a very common thing that he's saying like doctors' kids don't get good medical treatment or things like that, or like that's just an example. But we've been because he's been joking with me about that. So because I'm like, oh, Chester, I keep procrastinating doing your video. And he's like, the cobbler's children have no shoes. Okay, so just going through my notes. He actually worked at Burger King, found that out. Did not like that. Got into, thank God, poetry, music, art, very artistic. But also political and a mouthpiece. And I guess more serious, which is where that tall white comes in comparison to Chris Cornell. It's like the expression and mission. So when you're all three and you come to Earth as all three, it can be confusing. People are like, are you serious? Or are you, it's like in the center. They've been explaining this to me, how Archangel Uriel is in the center of, the more creative, lighter Arcturians. It's hard to explain, but it can be very confusing to people, and Chester was confusing sometimes because he was serious and political and would have got into writing and championing, making like documentaries, investigative journalism, things like that, but also a musician and an artist. Where Chris was getting into it too, but wouldn't have gone that far, but would have helped. So he's talked a little bit about Mike Shinoda, who is reptilian, not dark reptilian, but how they were a good balance. His beats with my vocals. Just some stats. Linkin Park sold 100 million records worldwide. Number 19 he voted number 19 of the band's best of the decade. Okay, so the time is just really ticking. had me make some notes here. Out of Ashes, Dead by Sunrise, Out of Time. These are just some songs. I'll put a playlist, like I said. He got to live his lifelong dream. So we've talked about the hardships of his life, but he loved the Stone Temple Pilots, and he got to sing with them for a couple years. Even though his big band was Linkin Park. He was also in a band, King of Chaos, Arcade Fire. He actually, he tuned in to, very surprisingly at that time, that Madonna was a starseed. And he said he openly admitted to loving Madonna, even though he was, you know, considered kind of hardcore rocker. He says he feels bad that he was anti-Trump, that he fed into the propaganda, but he gets it. Why? He said, you know, growing up as Gen X, we were shown all these movies, like it was always like rich versus poor, and the rich, you know, it was very exaggerated, Caddyshack, and these movies where it's like the rich are bad, the poor are the good guys, and he's saying there's a lot of propaganda, but his spirit was, which many galactic beings, very influenced by that, and wanted to always champion the underdog. And he was vocally anti-Trump, which, you know, many of us were just growing up Democrats, and being told to champion for the underdog, and fell into that. But he realized when he passed on to the other side that you know, that Trump is Archangel Michael, so part of the Archangel Michael spiritual group. So he thought that was that, he said that blew his mind, even though he didn't have a mind. Oh, you guys get it. So sorry, just reading my notes, and they're talking to me. Oh goodness. That whole anti-Trump thing fed into his father wound to he's just showing me all of the cliches we grew up with in the 70s and 80s, and the movies, and with the yachts. Okay, moving on. Yeah, he was telling me about, comparing Trump and Biden, and to beware of like the phony. A big thing now is people who have money pretending to be poor, or pretending not to have money, or not to have as much money as they have. And that's, he's saying that's worse than like Trump just being like, I'm successful, here I am. And he's saying this about Biden and Hunter Biden, how that's, watch out for that now. And he presented it to me in this way. Like, they also present to me like it's like they show me like it's like I'm watching a movie, and how twisted this sort of idea is, and showing me like a rich kid who invites other kids to his summer home and doesn't ask them to pay, but it's like this unspoken thing that the kids bring all this stuff and pay for him and take care of him, which just makes him richer. But it's the idea like that. He's trying to explain this So moving on from that, he's made some political points about, what he sees from his view of environmentalists, and wishing that they would just take more action, like helping clean up neighborhoods instead of ruining art. And he's saying hopefully they're trying to give the message to the younger generation to take action in that area, have a more balanced approach to environmentalism. Mother Mary she oversees the earth. She's saying like, yes, thank you. It's gotten out of control and distorted. And we talked a little bit about his legacy, about being new metal, really combining like the hip hop, rap, and poetry with grunge and rock at that time. And that comes from him having the influence of Archangel Uriel too, is bringing these different ideas together. Okay. And Fred Durst has complimented him. He's been called an open book, raw but strong. And he says that's very important. It was very important to find that middle ground. It's very Archangel Uriel, like it's very hard for people as artists to find that middle ground of being strong but not invulnerable, and being he's saying what he's seeing a lot now with male artists is like they think, getting in touch with their feminine side is being hang-doggy, and he really wants to let, you know, men and women, masculine, feminine, know, like, be careful when you're trying to explain, make art about, you know, being vulnerable, or even to show you're vulnerable, but coming across as like hang-doggy. He's saying it unfortunately makes for not good music, and just it comes across, it's not attractive. That's what he's saying. It's not attractive. Okay, so that's it for the notes I wrote down, but then I also, he talked to me, and I just like recorded it, and let me just read what I recorded. Yeah, and it just goes on from what I'm saying. It's perfect. He said, unfortunately, we need to make trauma entertaining to be palatable. He said one of the worst things that happened in the United States was when MTV stopped playing music videos. And he said it's because of that, and then all these other stations. He said other people in other countries actually, like, less is more. They get to see more music videos. But of course, you know, you guys look for your favorite artists and watch their videos. Okay. So now we're gonna get into like some serious stuff too. He and Chris Cornell were speaking out on assault, and they were I wrote it down here too. They found his father had taken a lot of notes on that. They were putting a lot together. They were starting a documentary together. You can check out The Silent Children. They were getting involved with that. Avicii was getting involved with that too. Now Avicii was taken out by, this is interesting what he said. Just look here. So I did a reading on Avicii, and he was taken out by this guy he worked with, but the guy was dark reptilian, and this is another thing. So Avicii would have been a target from the group that targeted Chester, and Chris Cornell would have been a target too, but they're saying like dark reptilians know when you're a target. They can feel it, and they may take that opportunity to take you out, because you know Chris was taken out by his ex-wife, but he would have been a target. He could have been taken out. So there's that. Okay, so he definitely wants you to listen. I'll put it in the playlist, the crawling, when they sing together. Okay. He explained another level of hunger strike. They sang that together. Blood is on the table, the fire is cooking, but I'm going hungry. They're saying we don't want what's in the pot. And that's like another level of grossness of the dark reptilian energy that feeds on some groups. I hope you guys are catching my drift. It's really disgusting. It's also a Robin Hood type song that transferring money. But you know, this music is downloaded to galactic beings. So even sometimes they sing these songs and they don't realize all of the meanings of the songs until they listen to it. It's pretty fascinating. And Jesus is like, we know the meanings. Some of this stuff I've already said, so let me just read through this. Okay, so people have asked me about this, like, is there a hell, you know? And Prince told me a little bit about this, and Chester said Chester didn't go there, didn't get trapped. Said there is a dark place where some souls do get trapped in the fourth dimension, like we've talked about. He said the music there, like the music is beautiful in the 12th dimension with this team. Or you know, you could call it heaven, call it the other side. Okay, so the music is terrible. He said it sounds like a garage band with really over dramatic staccato like horns. Like think of just like these horrible trumpets. That was it. Good insight, but I'll have to make a whole video on what that is. Just says pay attention to messages, synchronicity. Talk to him, talk to them. If you have any of the issues he's had, or you feel like he can help you, he's really working on that. He's really working on wanting to connect with others and help them. Okay. Yeah, he said Many of you want to do spiritual work too, and he's saying try to connect to something, try to do something maybe others aren't doing. Like many do tarot. He's saying maybe use runes, from the Celtic tradition, or read tea leaves or coffee grinds. And also follow your ideas and your instincts, and they might not lead you like to your final destination, but they'll help get you there. He's saying the dark reptilian energy loves traps, which is interesting because he's talked about being trapped in that fourth dimension. But he said pay attention to traps here. There are so many traps. I'm gonna make a video about that. He did write examples like the friend that asks you to go to a concert and they wait until you're at the concert and then they switch up and try to bring you down. Just be very careful. Any situation you could be trapped in, you know, agreeing to let someone drive you somewhere, or that it's not until, like, you'll notice that it's not until everything's been secured, like you signed a contract, you signed the rental agreement, you know, you decided to go on vacation with someone, or you know, you're at the party now and your ride has driven off, where like he's very surprised at how people's behavior is so planned. To just be very careful of being trapped. And he said he sang that song he wrote, all you've ever wanted was someone to truly look up to you. He's singing that to Archangel Uriel, his parents. So I thought that was beautiful. Thank you. He said the song "The Messenger" is dedicated to Archangel Gabriel and all the archangels, you know. Talks about love in our life. The song "Powerless" is about being with the dark reptilian. And he really wants to make it a point for you to not be a victim, especially in the name of Jesus. You know, Jesus was quoted as turning the other cheek, and that can be really helpful, a political, diplomatic way to deal with some things. But there are times where you need to stand up for yourself, and Chester's really being an advocate of that, standing up for yourself, not being a victim. That's where that hang doggy thing came from. Okay, so we're gonna get to his passing. I know that that's why a lot of you tuned into this video. I wanted to just be respectful of him and give his messages first. So what had happened? They're trying to make light of this. So Chester went, and he's showing me, and then he also had me like look this up just to solidify what happened. But Chester went on vacation with his wife. If she ever watches this, he loves you. His wife was his twin flame. And I'll make a little bio about them. His wife is his twin flame. The children he has with her are galactic. He went on vacation with them. He was in a really good place, really happy. He was going to speak out about these powerful people and the depravity, the assault on children, the buying and selling of children. He was going to talk about that. And he was going to out very powerful people. And they set him up. So he went on vacation with his family. He went home. He had a job the next day, supposed to be doing like a commercial. He went home. He was very happy. He showed me this scene where there were 3 men, one small man who broke into his house, and he showed me like through this like door, like a dog door, like and the 2 other men waited, but they ambushed him when he came in, and they made it look like it doesn't really make sense. I looked up some of the details too because it didn't make sense, but you know, Chester was known in the past to have substance abuse problems and alcohol problems, so they tried to make it look like he relapsed, but it just didn't make sense. Like someone relapses, they don't it showed like that he drank like half a drink. That's not what people do when they relapse. So he said to look up the death of Avicii, look up, and you can watch my videos, look up the death of Chris Cornell. It just doesn't make sense. So that didn't make sense. But anyway, so they overpowered him. There were 3 men, and he is going to out one person that he said it's safe for me to say. So it's John Podesta. So John Podesta was involved with Madeleine McCann's taking her out. He's a big player in just one of the groups that is in power in this industry. There were other people who I can't say, it's not safe for me to say, but he said I can say that. But they hired 3 very savvy very savvy, very skilled. Hitman, I guess is the best way to say it. They overpowered him. He said another thing that doesn't make sense is like, why would he come home, have half a drink, not take off his clothes? Like, you know, our generation, when we get home, the first thing we do is like take off our clothes. Mr. Rogers is here, putting on his like sweater, you know. They overpowered him and made it, it's really sad. They made it look like he, you know, took himself out with a rope, and he did not. Said it was terrifying. He said it's just no one, everyone, like people who know him would know that he just would not leave his family that way. He would not. He loved his family. He was happy. He would not leave them without leaving a note. Everything was going well. It was the dark reptilian energy, the last hurrah, but also he feels bad. He should have had more protection, and he feels bad that there's like a maybe that he said his family it doesn't believe he took himself out, but they don't want to be in danger. And if you see someone like not pushing on an investigation, it's oftentimes they don't want to be in danger. The same with Chris's family. They know that it's not going to bring the person back, and they don't want to be in danger. So so he was taken out so that would be silenced. It hasn't been silenced. It didn't work. I guess it did work for a while. And he was made an example out of, like many. That he's showing me that lets people know, or at least puts fear in them, like people aren't stupid, they can see this pattern. He's just showing me all these men, but people too, women too, who are standing up now and did, and many have a situation like his, maybe not exactly the same. He's just showing me the bravery of many people, now don't take offense, but of his generation, and just their particular, what they were up against. And he's with my brother right now, my brother Freddie. He went through a tough time too. I'll talk about Freddie another time. You know, this is about Chester, and I just don't want to leave anything out, but I guess that'll be it for now. I will have Chester come back. It's too much. Yeah. But just know that Chester did not take himself out of this world. He was overpowered. He was taken out. And I'm getting too sad. So I think that I'll have him back on, but I think this is enough for today. Anyway, I will be on soon. Okay, bye you guys. Thank you for watching. And Chester wants to say that he loves you. Please pray to him. And I want to thank my team. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, everyone. And please pray to them too.